Hello, MCU fans. Today we're going to break down the brand new Secret Invasion trailer, as well as look back at the first trailer and kind of integrate everything in together. And then also there's a recent Vanity Fair article that has some really cool still shots, as well as some behind the scenes information that I'll integrate in as well. So let's dive right in and see what we can find out. All right, so right off the bat, we learn that we're going to see a very different Nick Fury. Notice the beard, a little bit longer, a lot grayer, and then even the eye patch before long, he's going to end up getting rid of that. And in the Vanity Fair article, Samuel L. Jackson talked about the fact that this is Nick Fury at his most vulnerable. You know, without that eye patch, as menacing as it is, it just kind of reflects the fact that he's not the old Nick Fury we're used to seeing. In fact, remember, in Far From Home, there he is with that, I guess, dyed beard, right? You don't grow that gray out that quickly. So I'm guessing he was dyeing it. But anyway, and there he's got the eye patch, and he was so happy-go-lucky. Where's my shoes, walking around relaxing, but not when we see him now. He is a very different man. So we're going to learn more about that in the trailer as to why he's so broken down. All right, one interesting thing to note, though, is in comicbook.com, they had an article that came out right after Far From Home was released, and John Watts confirms that's the real Nick Fury at Tony's funeral at the end of Avengers Endgame. I just bring that up to say that that's probably the last time that we saw the real Nick Fury. Now, I did a separate video on when we might have been seeing Nick Fury and when it might have been Talos impersonating him, maybe all the way back to Age of Ultron and before. So check that out if you want. But here they're confirming that at least we know it was Nick Fury at the funeral, and that was in October of 2023. But as Talos tells him, since you've been gone, because he's been gone off Earth for quite a while, things have gotten much worse. And then I love this tender moment. Now, this is a still shot from the Vanity Fair article showing, they just have this long-standing friendship. Think about it. Captain Marvel was in 1995, and we're very likely now in 2025. That's 30 years they've known each other. So, yeah, that's really cool just to see them like that. So why exactly is Nick Fury so, beaten down? Well, according to the Vanity Fair article, the loss of some of the original Avengers. I mean, both Tony and Natasha, and this is a still obviously from Iron Man 2, going way back to when he first recruited Iron Man into the Avengers, they're both dead. They both lost their lives in Endgame. Obviously, he was there at the funeral, we learned, but it just really shook him. It really shook him. And so he just has left Earth and kind of, checked out, totally checked out. But, so now he's back, we see, and I love that he's going into this hidden vault with clearly some weapons and other tech. But that little panel, what is that light up panel there? It looks like a combination of a fox and maybe the Black Panther logo. I mean, leave down in the comments if you think that has any relevance. It probably doesn't. It's probably just a little light up thing when he entered a combination, but still, it just looks interesting. All right, so this is fascinating. Fury visits his gravestone we see in the trailer, the second trailer. And I love the passage, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And if you look really closely, you can kind of see behind the moss and stuff there, John 15:13. So that's obviously a scripture from the Bible. But here's what's interesting. This is nowhere close to the same gravestone that we saw in The Winter Soldier. Remember that one? Looked like this. And it had a very different quote, Ezekiel 25:17, which if you've ever seen Pulp Fiction, you know why that's really funny. But yeah, look at these two different gravestones. So what is going on here? Did he actually have a second gravestone made? Because we know this one was fake. He wasn't dead. But did he leave people thinking he was dead in America and the other one is maybe in England? I don't know. Very interesting that he's got multiple gravestones, though. So we'll have to figure out what this means. Okay, so I love that he's rocking some sweet glasses, and he basically declares this is his fight. This is a war I have to fight alone. Now, part of that reason, I suspect, is because he can't trust anybody, right? He now knows the Skrulls are infiltrating all over the place, so who can he trust? But also, it seems to be confirmed from the trailer the Avengers don't exist. This has been a theory we've had for a while. I've mentioned it in previous videos that I'm not sure they're even around. This is a French newspaper. Kind of funny, they're still talking about the Battle of New York. What a major, major event in the MCU, right? But yeah, where are the Avengers? Now, it's not that they're not meeting at all. I mean, it feels like they're meeting informally maybe, because remember at the end of Shang-Chi, you had Wong, and he was doing the Zoom call, the hologram Zoom call with Captain Marvel and Bruce. So I think they all talk, but I'm betting they kind of just disbanded for the most part after Endgame. Similar to Nick Fury. Nick Fury heads up into space, and the Avengers head off on their own. So that's why he feels like he's on his own. I suspect we won't see a lot of cameos from superheroes and Avengers. Just a guess, but I'm suspecting this is mostly going to be ground-level espionage stuff. All right, so we meet one of the main villains, and we've seen him in some of the other the earlier trailer as well. This is a nice still shot from the Vanity Fair. Gravik is his name. He's an extremist resistance leader. So basically, if you remember, at the end of Captain Marvel, they were promised by Nick Fury that he would find them a new planet. You know, they were kind of hiding out on Earth, yes, but he'll find them a new planet. Well, that was 30 years ago again. So some of them are getting impatient, and Gravik's deciding, you know, maybe this is going to be our planet. Maybe we don't need another planet. Maybe we just need to take over this one. So, wow, very, very interesting. And he is an extremist resistance leader, as you can see by, in fact, is this going to kill him? I mean, you got to wonder, right? But boom. And this looks like it's in Russia from the flags and such. And we're going to see some other things that indicate that Russia is where they're hiding out. But wow, they're not playing around. They're not playing around. So it's unclear what he's hiding in this secret lab. My guess is these are the bodies of the people that they're impersonating. Because I get the impression they're probably not killing people. I mean, they're extremists, yes, but maybe they don't want to kill folks. Maybe they want them alive for other reasons. You know, we do see in the first trailer another view, and this looks like where they're being discovered. Because we're gonna meet the lady on the right. She's with MI6 in a moment. We'll talk more about her. But they're discovering the bodies. So, you know, and they look human. So my guess is that these are, you know, the people that they've replaced. So we'll see. But this is very interesting. Notice that we find a damage control specimen sample case, U.S. Department of Damage Control. And if you look down at the bottom, it says collection date, and you can't really read the date, but work with me. I'm betting it's 2018 because you can see it's a 20, a 1, and then it could be a couple other different numbers. I'm going to guess 2018, and here's why. As the camera continues to pan over, it says specimen sample col, and looks like a space. Who do we know whose name starts with Cole that would have been around in 2018? That would maybe be Cole Obsidian. Is it possible that, you know, when, obviously we know when they closed that portal on him, his arm got, you know, cut off. Is it possible that they kept a sample of that, damage control? And now is it maybe possible the Skrulls have gotten a hold of this? And that they're maybe splicing DNA and trying to create a Super Skrull? Now, this is not Cole Obsidian's powers there, obviously. That looks more like Mr. Fantastic combined with Groot. So, you know, I don't know whether that has anything to do with that sample case, but that sample case is pretty suspicious. That is interesting. Regardless, it does appear like the Skrulls are working on creating superheroes. Or supervillains, or however you want to look at it, the Super Skrull. So something's going on there. And in fact, there's another scene where he's using the same Groot / Mr. Fantastic power, and I'm going to bet that dude doesn't make it. The dude he's hitting there. That's the end of that dude. So something is going on. They may well be trying to get, you know, more than just the ability to look like anybody. They want powers too. Okay, so also, what is this structure? So in the first trailer, we see folks entering in and working on this structure. Clearly, they're building it. Then in the second trailer, we see Gravik heading towards it. And then there's also a fight scene. It looks like it's turned on at this point. A fight scene with Fury and Gravik. So, yeah, hey, if you got any ideas down in the comments, let me know. Tell me what you think this is. I do not know. Fascinating, and it's going to have a major plot device because they're spending time building it, and it's a major set piece. So we'll see. Also, what's interesting, though, is when Fury gets knocked down, notice he's got the eye patch again. So this could be early on, before he gets rid of the eye patch, I guess. I don't know. There may be some really interesting things happening with Fury. I mean, you wonder if it's because Fury's been impersonated by Talos, could other Skrulls be impersonating him throughout this too? Wild. He does still have the gray beard, though, notice. That hasn't gone away. All right, so really keep an eye, no pun intended, on Fury. Okay, we also meet Gaia. Now, Gaia, it turns out, we don't learn this from the trailers, but in the Vanity Fair article, they mention she is Talos's daughter from the Captain Marvel movie. So you remember, at the end of the movie, we meet his family and his daughter. Well, now, 30 years later, she's grown up, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure whether she's a villain or not. They certainly make her seem like she's a villain. I mean, that she's part of this resistance movement with Gravik. But here's a scene. This is actually from the Vanity Fair, another still. Here she is talking to Talos. That seems like that's going well. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if she's totally radicalized or if she still has some compassion for what's going on. We'll have to see. And see, this is interesting too. She's warning someone. The trailer seems to imply it's Fury, but you know how they trick us with these trailers. She's warning either Fury or Talos, I'm suspecting, of you don't know what they have planned for you. Interesting. So she knows what the radicalized Skrulls are wanting to do and is maybe feeling bad about it. We'll have to find out. But I'm just going to bet she's not 100% bad. So we'll find out. All right. We also know that Fury is working with Maria Hill, which is great. Nice to see her again. This is another still from the Vanity Fair article. And boy, he's got a massive beard going there, up the sides even. Also, Maria Hill's not real happy with him. You might remember from the first trailer. She says, you've been pretty content to let the calls go straight to voicemail. Because, Maria's been stuck down on Earth working hard. And Fury's up in space chilling. So, yeah, she's not real happy about that. But still, great to see them together again. It's been way too long. Okay, so also we know that Rhodey's going to be in Secret Invasion, and we learn that he is the president's right-hand man. Now, I don't think that's vice president. I mean, it kind of sounds like it a little bit, but I'm guessing he's just a member of the president's staff. But that's pretty cool. So he has moved up very high in the government. And then here's Nick Fury saying, how much do you know about your security detail? This is from the first trailer. And sure enough, then we see his security detail not too long after that. And you're sitting there wondering, okay, which one of these is a Skrull? Or maybe they all are. So lot of cool espionage mystery going to be going out throughout Secret Invasion. Love it, love it, love it. Then Fury has the tables turned on him, though, when Rhodey says, you're the most wanted man on the planet. So Rhodey's warning him about the danger he's in. And this really leaves you wondering, wanted man on the planet, wanted by who? And for what? I mean, obviously the resistance Skrulls, they're after him because they're mad that he hasn't found them, a new planet. But, are governments after him? Are the police after him? Damage control? Who? Why? Big mystery. Let me know down in the comments what you think. But I have no clue. I don't know why they would be mad at him. So very, very interesting. All right. We also know Everett Ross is going to be in Secret Invasion, and he's been on the run ever since Wakanda Forever. You remember at the end of Wakanda Forever, they broke him out of prison after Val had him arrested. So yeah, he's majorly in trouble if he ever gets caught. But somehow he's going to be helping, so that's pretty cool. Love to see him again. And then I mentioned her earlier, or alluded to her earlier at least, but MI6 Special Agent Sonya Falsworth is going to be a main character. And for those that are really into Easter eggs and have a great memory, I guess, of Captain America First Avenger, she is related to James Montgomery Falsworth, who was one of the Howling Commandos. So that's pretty cool. And then also, at least in the comics, I don't think it's been made canon in the movies, but at least James Montgomery Falsworth becomes Union Jack. So I'm wondering if they'll make some reference to that, if maybe even her character goes by the name of Union Jack, or maybe she even was Union Jack for a while. It'd just be interesting to see if they go anywhere with that or just leave it as a fun little comic Easter egg. But there are some other descendants of the Howling Commandos. You might remember Principal Merida was a descendant of Jim Merida, who was one of the Howling Commandos. And then in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Triplet said that he is a descendant of one of the Howling Commandos. He never said which one, but we can kind of guess it was probably Gabe Jones. So that would be really cool if so. So yeah, it's neat to see them tying in the Howling Commandos from First Avenger with several of the characters in present day. So, also though, we learned that MI Special Agent Sonya Falsworth does not play around. So she explains to Nick Fury, very few of us know about the wars fought. And while she's saying this in the trailer, they show us Maria Hill, which kind of implies, okay, Maria Hill knows about these wars being fought. And then she says, in the shadows that have raged on this planet. And while she's saying that, we see Everett Ross. So my guess is the trailer is subtly trying to hint at, hey, these guys have known about it. They were fighting it while you were up in space, you're chilling. And then she says, do you feel responsible? And I'm wondering if that's because she knows that he didn't find them the planet. They're mad at him, that this is kind of a revenge thing, and she's trying to make him feel guilty for it. Ouch. And maybe rightfully so. But she does not play around, because we later see she's basically torturing a dude who I'm going to guess is a Skrull and doesn't want to turn back into Skrull form. But it's interesting. This is from the first trailer. In the second trailer, they cut the scene before you see who's back there. I'm not sure why they did that. But notice what she's got in her hands. It looks like a pair of scissors. So somebody might be losing an extremity soon. But yeah, she does not play around. And then I don't know what she's doing here. She's collecting a specimen maybe to put in the case. Yeah, she may be bad news. I don't think she's a Skrull. That wouldn't make any sense. But she definitely plays hardball. All right. Last thing I'll say about the trailer, though, is let's put this in perspective. So we know that Ritson is the president. And we learned that because in Wakanda Forever, the little ticker down at the bottom, President Ritson signed trade pact with New Asgard. So Ritson is the president. If you don't remember what he looks like, we're going to see soon that I don't think he's going to make it through this, because that looks like a presidential cavalcade there, the several cars all driving together that's getting bombed and demolished. Although I said it's a presidential cavalcade, I don't get the RV. See the white RV on the left? What's up with that? But anyway, forgetting that, yeah, big time. So if you don't remember what Ritson looks like, we did get a hint of what he looks like from a prop that was revealed a long time ago during the early filming. But that's him there. And notice it says President Ritson in London for emergency talks. But the reason I show that picture is because, yeah, inside the car, at least in the first trailer they showed us, that don't look too good for him. So my guess is he is killed. And I suspect he was replaced by a Skrull. So that actually what ends up happening is we find out that's a Skrull, not the president. But it's also possible those were Skrulls in the helicopter killing him. Either way, a major issue happens by losing the president, either because he's a Skrull and they find out he's infiltrated, or he was killed by Skrulls. So here's what I really want to talk about now. That's kind of done with the trailer at this point. But now I want to talk about why Secret Invasion is so important, not just in and of itself, but for the next several things to come out in Phase 5, and I think even all the way into Phase 6. We're going to have several street-level hero and political espionage storylines that all interweave together. All right, so what I've done across the top there, these are things that came out in Phase 4 that I think are going to tie in to Secret Invasion, as well as some of the future things I'm going to talk about. And those are the dates that I believe they occur in the MCU timeline. The only one that's controversial is Eternals, and actually you'll see why I think that October of 2024 date makes more sense than 2023. All right, so Secret Invasion, we know that's coming out in June of 2023. And I'm going to use the release dates going forward. The top is the MCU dates, when they actually happen in the MCU. But because we're 2 years earlier, right, in real time, man, I hope real time catches up to MCU time before long. But I'm going to stick with release dates down below. But anyway, so Secret Invasion, several important things will happen. We talked about the president is going to die, and they're going to need a new president, but also may even be a Skrull. So we'll see. And there's just the mass hysteria because of the Skrulls in general. Okay, so then we have Echo. Echo picks up from Hawkeye, obviously, and Kingpin and Daredevil are in that. Definite street-level heroes as well as Echo. So I don't think anything's going to tie into Secret Invasion just yet, but Echo's still important to get down the line. All right, then we have Sentry. This is supposedly a special presentation coming out in holiday time frame of 2023, being filmed at the same time as Thunderbolts. We've not heard any official announcements, but there have been some rumors. So hold on to the idea. I'm not going to talk much more about it now because we're going to talk more about Sentry when we get to Thunderbolts. All right, then we get to Daredevil Born Again. Now, this is when the real tie-ins to Secret Invasion start happening, because I believe the hysteria that was created because of the Skrulls and the lack of superheroes taking care of them is going to let Kingpin be able to launch his campaign for mayor of New York. That's been pretty much stated by Vincent D'Onofrio himself, I believe, that's going to be one of the big subplots. Well, that's important because Kingpin's not a good dude, and to have him in power in one of the most important cities in the U.S., that's a big deal. All right, then we have Captain America New World Order. That, of course, is going to pick up some of the storylines from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I think basically the fact that there was no Avengers team, like we learned from the trailer. There's no Avengers, meaning they're going to try to get back together. Falcon's going to try to get a team together. It's not going to work, and I'm not saying it's because of Falcon and bad leadership, but I think something's going to end up with being a failure. Either they're not going to gel or they're not going to succeed in whatever it is they're trying to do. And we do know it's going to have a lot of Hulk blood subplots, which is why I have She-Hulk up there. So She-Hulk is going to tie into Captain America New World Order. But I think at the end of it, and then we also know Ross is going to become president. Secretary of State Ross, they've said, is going to become President Ross during Captain America New World Order. Of course, he's replacing Ritson, who died in Secret Invasion. See, this is all tying together. But then I do believe the Avengers are not going to be a success. That will lead to Val, who's the head of CIA, and now we have Ross, President Ross, right, being able to create the Thunderbolts. They're like, fine, we'll create our own superhero team. Remember, Ross tried to create the Sokovia Accords to control the superheroes. That didn't work. Fine, we'll just get our own. And one of the things, I believe one of their missions is going to be to stop Sentry, because I think that Val creates Sentry and he goes nuts and it becomes a problem. So it's almost a cleanup to try to take care of her problem. But who knows? Maybe Sentry's going to even have a bigger role down the line. But yeah, she's going to have control of the Thunderbolts. So now you've got Kingpin as mayor, you've got Val, head of the CIA, Ross, the president of the United States, and the Thunderbolts are their team. Wow. Then I think this is going to lead into Armor Wars. Armor Wars is going to have elements of Secret Invasion because of Rhodey. It's going to have damage control heavily involved, and because it's going to deal with Tony Stark's tech being stolen. Okay, and then supposedly Ultron's coming back too. So, man, everything's going on in that movie. And then finally, I do think Spider-Man 4 is going to tie into this whole storyline as well. Why do I say that? Well, here's the thing. The MCU Spider-Man movies have been team-ups, and I think Sony has required that. It's part of the contract. So think about Homecoming. Spider-Man teamed up with Iron Man, sort of. And then in Far From Home, he teamed up with Nick Fury. Well, sort of. Talos. But anyway, and then in No Way Home, he teams up with Doctor Strange. You can tell I love Marvel team-up, right? That was one of my favorite comics. So I think in Spider-Man 4, the team-up is going to be Daredevil. So here's 3 different Daredevil times he teamed up with Daredevil. And that means if he's teaming up with Daredevil, thinking back to all of this again, they're going to be probably fighting Kingpin, who's Mayor Kingpin. So I think all 8 of these things are going to tie in together, as well as tying in to several of the things up above. Oh, sorry, I totally didn't mention the Eternals. Thunderbolts, the rumor has been that one of the missions, in addition to fighting Sentry, is going to be recovering metal from Tiamat, because they're going to discover that when Tiamat was stopped, by the Eternals, by Cersei, that converted him into adamantium. So why do I think it's important that Eternals is more in 2024 than 2023? Because I don't know when Thunderbolts is going to be in the MCU timeline. I'm betting sometime in 2026. The later the Eternals movie is in the timeline, the better. Because that puts us, maybe only a year and a half out from the Eternals movie. And especially if Val's been trying to get that adamantium for a while, then, that all fits too. So anyway, my point is, all of this is going to tie together. Anybody who's felt like the MCU's been a little disconnected in Phase 4, that's because it was setting up all these awesome storylines in Phase 5 and beyond. So I really think all of this is going to end up tying together. Now then, with all of these bad people in positions of power, I think it's the MCU version of the Dark Reign comics run. Now, notice there's Sentry, by the way. The rest of these are probably not going to be, the same. That's Norman Osborn in the kind of the Captain America / Iron Man suit there. Venom. I mean, it's going to be very different. So let's talk about what the MCU's Dark Reign is going to look like. Well, we know Sharon Carter is working for the CIA. She may even be a Skrull, potentially, but she's working for the CIA. Val's the head of the CIA. Ross is the president, and Kingpin's going to be the mayor. Oh, and they have the Thunderbolts working for them, and boy, does damage control look shady. Wow. So there is a lot of bad people in very high positions of power. All of this stemming, I believe, ultimately because of Secret Invasion. Oh, and by the way, Ross might turn into the Red Hulk. So, and then you have President Red Hulk. So, wow. I guess my point is, let's watch Secret Invasion and be excited about it just for being Secret Invasion, because it's going to be awesome, but also for how much it's going to set up. This is going to be such an important series. I cannot wait. It will be amazing. All right, so there you go. That's all I got to say about that. We do have a Discord server. Love to have you join if you'd like. I will put a pinned comment that gives you how you can join. And also, if you don't mind, you can like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out more content, and we can all continue to enjoy the ever-growing, ever-changing Marvel Cinematic Universe.